Reading from Breakfast Bible Bites 45, verse 5. Jesus returns as the King of Kings. It reads, "Your arrows are sharp, the people fall under you. Your arrows are in the heart of the king's enemies." From the prophetic view, this is a portrait of the true triumphal entry of Jesus when the king comes victoriously to his throne at the opening of the seals and is rendered triumphant at the blowing of the seventh trumpet. Revelation 6, 1 through 2 says, "As I watched, the Lamb broke the first of the seven seals on the scroll, and then I heard the four living beings saying with a voice like thunder, 'Come.' I looked up and saw the white horse standing there. Its rider carried a bow, and a crown was placed on his head, and he rode out to win many battles and gain victory." Revelation 11:15 reads, "Then the seventh angel blew his trumpet, and there was a loud voice shouting in heaven, 'The world has become the kingdom of our Lord and of his Christ, and he will reign forever and ever.'" When Jesus makes his re-entry into the world, we are told about God's judgment in the form of tribulation. In preparation for this judgment, we read that his arrows are sharp, penetrating deep into the hearts of humanity, intended to prick even the dull consciousness of his enemies into conviction and submission. They inflict a wound in the soul, which only Christ himself can heal. Keep this truth in mind. Whether for love or vengeance, Christ's aim never misses. Jesus' arrows of conviction are sharp, and in the quiver of his word, and are sharpened even more on the tongues of his evangelists as arrows are discharged from their cradle in the knocking point of his bow. Paul is an example of just such an evangelist, one who became an arrow of our Lord. Once discharged from Christ's bow, he pierced the hearts from Jerusalem to Iconium and beyond. We read in the prophet Zechariah about the Lord's return. In verse 9, he identifies Jesus as the sovereign Lord and then moves on to his second coming as he begins his millennial reign in total victory over the judgment of the earth and the safe return of remnant Israel from their diaspora. Zechariah 9, 9 through 16 reads, "Rejoice, O people of Zion. Shout in triumph, O people of Jerusalem. Look, your king is coming to you. He is righteous and victorious, yet he is humble, riding on a donkey's colt. I will remove the battle chariots from Israel and the war horses from Jerusalem. I will destroy all the weapons used in battle, and your king will bring peace to the nations. His realm will stretch from sea to sea and from the Euphrates River to the wide ends of the earth. Because of the covenant I will make with you, sealed with blood, I will free your prisoners from death in the waterless dungeons. Come back to the place of safety, all you prisoners who still have hope. I promise this very day that I will repay 2 blessings for each of your troubles. Judah is my bow and Israel is my arrow. Jerusalem is my sword, and like a warrior I will brandish it against the Greeks. The Lord will appear above his people. His arrows will fly like lightning. The sovereign Lord will sound the ram's horn and attack like a whirlwind from the southern desert. The Lord of heaven's army will protect his people, and they will defeat their enemies by hurling great stones. They will shout in the battle as though drunk with wine. They will be filled with blood like a bowl and drenched with blood like the corners of the altar. On that day, the Lord their God will rescue his people just as a shepherd rescues his sheep. They will sparkle in his land like jewels in a crown.